Hi, I'm Bill King. I'm asking for your support to help me prevent my eviction from my home and to take a stand in general against unfair and illegal evictions, which are disrupting lives and creating havoc across Hamilton. In January of 2016, that's 8.5 years ago, I moved into my home at 92 Sanford Avenue South here in downtown Hamilton. That's the building right behind me. It was built in 1930 and contains 8 units. I rented apartment 1 right here. It's partly a basement apartment. The building is owned by Sean Little. He lives in Toronto. He bought 92 Sanford about 1996. It's mortgage-free and he's operated it as an investment property ever since. I presently work as the operator of a small publishing company, and I've written a couple of books about the history of Hamilton. I don't make very much money, but I am gradually building up the business and my income. Way back in 2015, I was forced to find a new home by an owner who said that she was turning her house into a single-family home. That wasn't true, but that's another story. I found an ad posted on Kijiji by Sean Little for a basement apartment at 92 Sanford Avenue. I told Sean about my situation, and my previous landlord gave me a good reference. The apartment I rented at 92 Sanford is only about 450 square feet, but with some effort and expense, I was able to fit in everything that I need, and it's my workplace as well as my home. For the next 7 or 8 years, I always paid my rent on time, and I tried to be a good tenant. People who live in a neighborhood like this one don't usually have a lot of money, and so you get to know your neighbors, and you can help them out, and sometimes they help you out. Then, right out of the blue, on August the 31st, 2023, my landlord knocked at my door and handed me a notice ordering me to move out of the apartment in 60 days. He told me that his circumstances had changed and that he needed my apartment to live in himself. You're probably wondering how a landlord can throw out a good long-term tenant that way. The answer is that as a rule, they can't. In Ontario, rental housing is a regulated sector. It is regulated by the Residential Tenancies Act, which creates security of tenure for tenants who live up to their obligations. In this way, good tenants can live their lives with confidence that they are not going to be thrown on the street. The laws in Ontario recognize that housing is a vital need and there are important social and health issues at stake. Of course, landlords have the right to evict a tenant who doesn't pay rent or creates a threat to safety or to other tenants or damages the building. What they can't do is throw you out because they don't like your looks, for example, or your point of view, or the color of your skin, or your sexual orientation. Despite security of tenure, there are a small number of situations in which a landlord can break a lease even when the tenant is not at fault and has fulfilled every one of his obligations. This is the type of situation I've got caught up in. It's called a no-fault eviction. One type of no-fault eviction is the N12 process. In this case, the landlord says that he needs to move into the tenant's rental unit. This is the N12 that I received from my landlord. I've spoken with a lot of people since this battle began, and I've learned that the N12 procedure is pretty widely abused in Hamilton. In my case, it's difficult for me to believe that my landlord really needs to occupy my basement apartment. It would be far below the lifestyle he can afford and has been accustomed to. When I've asked him for further information, he's refused to provide it. Just 2 months ago, when another apartment in this building, identical to mine, became available, the landlord immediately rented it out again. When I asked him why he required my apartment specifically, he refused to tell me. He even sent me an email and told me that by exercising my right to a hearing before the Landlord and Tenant Board, I was costing him, this is what my landlord said to me, I was costing him in terms of health, privacy, convenience, finances, time, and energy. The bottom line here is that I need and want possession of my property back from you. There is something else that's very strange about my case. The N12 no-fault eviction procedure is almost always used for either a rental unit within a home or for a condo unit which the owner is renting out. My situation is different and possibly even unique. As far as we've been able to find out, the N12 procedure has never been used to evict someone from an investment property with 8 identical units. The Residential Tenancy Act also says that an eviction order should not be issued unless it would be fair to both parties. At the tribunal, we'll be arguing that it would be very unfair to evict a tenant in a situation like mine. My life would be completely turned upside down, while the landlord would have an identical apartment as soon as the next person moves out. Unlike many tenants, I've been very lucky in getting some assistance from an organization known as Acorn, which fights for tenants in Hamilton. Acorn has also helped me to find the assistance of a lawyer. What you can do, if you'd like to help, is you can write a message to the landlord expressing how you feel. There's an email link on this website for you to connect to the landlord, and there's an email link on this website for you to connect to the landlord, and there's also an email link for you to contact me. I appreciate the moral support, and if you have any suggestions or information, I would appreciate that too. And if there's any way I can assist you with a similar type of problem, please feel free to let me know. If you'd like to sign a petition, please feel free to stop by 92 Sanford Avenue South and ring the bell to number 1. Thank you.